Hey everybody, how's it going? How we doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live here down in the workshop. It is that time of the week. It is time for Workshop Wednesdays. We're doing some toy making, working on the Luau figures, the Perry Von Vicious figures for the Blitzkrieg Luau. These are going to be exclusive toys only on sale at the Blitzkrieg Luau. Very excited for these. Getting our angles all set up here. Yeah, I think this will give us a pretty good view of what we want. Reed Cooper, welcome, welcome, my friend. I'm still not over not having my soundboard on Workshop Wednesdays. When the time comes where I've built the studio back behind us, the luxury we'll live in. We'll have everything we need to do both. Slept all day. What a day! Hey, I'll be honest. Sounds pretty great. Sounds pretty great. I'm a little jealous. All right, so we got a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to work on. First thing I need to do, I have all of our leg pieces over here on the makeshift drying rack that need to come down. We had two styles we worked on last week. We had the greens, which are going to be for pre-order folks, and we had the orange, which will be available at the Luau for folks who are buying there. I'll take all of those down and just set them safely out of the way for the moment. We're gonna circle back to those because I'm gonna be crowdsourcing some ideas here from all of you fine folks in the chat. And in the meantime, set that back out of the way. In the meantime,
at Bacabella's Burgers, step right in the ring. Cindy's on the mic and Lil Joey's cooking everything. Stacked high, piled wild, take a bite. Whoa! At Bacabella's Burgers, the champ of the show. Whoa!
Let's go. Welcome in, Mr. Joey Nails. So, keen observers will remember that we were working on 7 figures last week, and we only have Encrypted. Welcome in. We only have 6 torsos here and 6 sets of arms just off camera. That is because I had to bring 1 torso and 1 set of arms to our dear friend Nikki, who is making the soft goods shirts for these, so that they could be fitted. And because she wants to be very precise in what she's doing, I sent the torso and arms with her, and she'll be working with those. I am going to be printing a fresh torso and set of arms that I'll do all those off camera, just to fill out the set. We got a few folks rolling in, which means I can probably start asking now. So on these, we have orange and green. I've been thinking about what kind of designs I want to do on these board shorts, and I think talking to all of you is gonna help me decide what we want to do. Specifically, I don't know. Do I want to do like a floral pattern? Do I want to do some kind of like a big stripe or something? It's a little bit of a tough choice. What I was sort of thinking I might do, and hear me out on this. You can all tell me what you think. I'm thinking like classic California board shorts, right? What I'm sort of thinking is down one leg, we'll do sort of a thick, dark stripe. One thick, dark stripe on one side. You often see those. And then on the other side, I think I want to make a little like flower stamp, a little floral stamp, and we'll just go boop, boop, boop. Three little flower print boop, boop, boops.
I'm a monster!
His freak out at the end always goes way longer than I thought it did. I'm going to look up what they wore in Point Blank. Point Break, sorry, yeah, Point Blank. Point Blank, that's what they would call it if I was in the movie, Point Blank. So that's kind of what I'm thinking we do. For coloring on that, I think we're sort of going to go the same on both, at least for the stripe. I'm thinking a dark navy blue stripe. It's always easier to go dark colors on top of bright, so I think that's sort of the way we want to go. And I think that's what we're going to do. So maybe if we're just doing that stripe on this side first and then letting it sit while we take care of some other things, while we contemplate making a little stamp. If that's the plan, and I think it's a good one, I can let those dry. So if that's the case, let me go into the drawer here and find us a nice dark navy blue. See, I think that's going to be a nice little contrast, the orange to the navy blue. And I think it'll work well on the green too. I think those can match. And I don't have a problem with that. I think that's okay. So that's what we're going to go with. Grab one of my little mixing cups here. And we're going to get some stripes happening. Now, these should be pretty easy. These shouldn't take too long because it is just a stripe. But I hope everyone's having a good week. Hope everyone's having a good time. I know I saw Joey Nails over the weekend. And that was pretty great. He got to come down, help out at Grind, hang out. And he did a great job helping with the doors. A huge hand there. And we had a great show to send us out for the season. Off for the summer break at Grind. They don't run July or August. But they're back twice in September. Once at RPM Fest and once back in Florence. I wound up, for those who haven't heard, I was in a triple threat match with Julesy and a kid named Samuel Fozzie. I don't know if he uses both names in the gimmick. Nick Beans, welcome. Welcome, my friend. I was just regaling everyone with stories from the weekend as we begin our work on the board shorts here. And it seems like the plan is I'm going to do sort of a thicker navy stripe down one leg. And on the other side, I'm going to make a little stamp and do 2 or 3 sort of like floral Hawaiian shirt print type floral thing. And I think that'll be that. Elvis just did a single black line. Okay, yeah, see, so I think the stripe on the one side, not bad. Like, it's sort of taking some inspiration from that. I'm into that. All right, so this navy blue stripe, because I want it to be dark, I want a good contrast. These are very bright colors. See how we're looking here. Oh, that's really nice. That's going to look really good. See how that looks, how it reads on camera if we get a little light on it. It's so dark. It's so dark, and that's what we want, but we don't want it to be black. We want this nice navy. That's a really good color. All right. Now the trouble of picking exactly the brush we want for the thickness. I think we have 3 pre-order greens, and we have 4 on the table oranges. I'm going to start with the on the tables first. Get a good look at how that plays. These will have time to dry while we work on the hair and beards of the torsos. And then once all of those parts are dry, we'll be able to come back with our black and do our wrist tape and elbow pad and the boots and knee pads. So one of the things I've learned about doing this particular kind of toy making, where I'm painting everything by hand, but I am doing batch work. That's the tricky part. You don't see a lot of that. It tends to be one or the other. One of the things I've really learned is that it helps to really think through your order of operations as you're going. You need to be very thoughtful about, what can I paint? What needs time to dry? What do I have to paint over? And that can complicate things greatly. All right, let's see how this is going to play. Oh, okay, that's looking. I got a good feeling about this navy blue. Let's get on with our first stripe here. Now I'm going to try to follow exactly how the fabric on these shorts would theoretically flow. Okay. That's that. That's our stripe. That's it. That's all I want to do. I don't want to make it any more complicated than that. The real question is, do you only have this workshop time on stream, or do you work off stream? I try to save a lot of it for stream. I like having a okay, so this gets into a slightly bigger conversation. I will not name names, but there are some folks who are doing toy making who are leveraging AI. That's their business. That's their business. I don't have what they do is none of my business and none of my concern. I'm glad there's more toys, right? But because I know how much work I put in, I really shudder at the idea that people will look at my toys and think that I may have used AI to make them. I really shudder at that idea. And my way of avoiding that as a potential thing I run into is real time documentation. You all watched me design these toys in real time. You all watched me paint them in real time. And those are the only parts that theoretically could have anything to do with that. So it's clear I'm not outsourcing. It's clear I'm not leveraging any nefarious, environmentally unfriendly, artist unfriendly AI. There's not an AI way to paint them. However, some of the fancier, newer 3D printers, not resin printers, but the fancy newer filament printers can do multicolor printing up to 8 colors, depending on what type of machine you get. So you can automate that, and you can absolutely have AI automate that for you. All right, so we did one orange. Let's see how this is going to look on the green. I'm feeling really good about what we're seeing so far. Like, this is looking very cool. Again, my technique is not a really fancy one. I get a good firm hold of those. I anchor both hands down onto the work surface, and then you'll see I take my pinky and I rest it on the piece so that I'm anchored to everything. I think I can get this all in one slow brush stroke. Yeah, with that. Perfect little stripe. I think that looks very cool. Yeah. Okay. Maybe not the most exciting thing to watch, single paint stroke design stuff like this, but you know, I'm going to leave this standing right here, and then I'll hang them all up at once. Having the AI, any of the art seems ridiculous. Obviously, AI is doing the fabrication. I mean, the printer needs a brain. I mean, yes and no. Once I feed the design into it, yes, there's a slicer app that creates the file and writes the code on how the machine works. But that's all done in-house on my computer. That all happens directly on my computer. So there's no AI data center in use. In terms of it being AI, it's only AI in as much as like spell check on your phone is AI. But even that, the spell check on your phone is reaching out to the internet to check it. Whereas I can turn the internet off in my house altogether and I can still make these files. And because I'm using a thumb drive to put them onto my machine, I can even put them on my machine and run my machine with no internet at all. So, you know, the main, you know, there's so many issues to take with AI, and I'm far from an expert. I would never claim to be. But apart from the flagrant plagiarism, and apart from the artists who are losing work unjustly, there is the issue of the environmental impact and the impact it has on just small communities where their water and their electricity is being eaten up. To me, those are the bigger issues, certainly. And by only using things that will work on site, you know, all the computing is done on my computer. I feel more ethically okay with that. Don't get me wrong. If there was a program I could put on my computer that could run just on my computer and I could tell it, hey, here's a picture of me, make a toy, in a heartbeat, baby. You know, that's way easier. But that's also only if I was doing it as a business. I'm not doing it just. It's a hobby. It's something this is a frequently said thing on these workshop streams. The beauty of making these toys to sell, and the reason I'm willing to do it all by hand, and the reason I take so much pride in it, is because this is something I would be doing anyway. As soon as I got my first 3D printer, I started making toys, and that was while the world was shut down. I didn't have any shows to sell anything at. So it only felt natural when I thought, like, hey, wrestlers should have toys, that I say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to share the thing I enjoy so much with everyone, not just at the merch table, but via live stream. Which is where you lovely people all come in. All right. That went so easy. Look at that. I think those stripes look really cool. I think it's a good color combo because it's a nice dark color. I was able to just get it in one pass. Yeah, the not knowing what to make with a 3D printer is a really good reason to hold off on a purchase, right? Like, until you have a plan. I was lucky. I got around that by not buying my first 3D printer. It was a Christmas gift from my wife, who was watching me go a little stir crazy while the world was shut down. And she, you know, our partners know us better often than we know ourselves. She had an inkling I'd be good at it. I had no background in 3D design at all. And she knew I was interested in toy making. So she did some research and she found the Ender 3 Pro, a filament printer that was an early model that was always being sort of updated, but no major changes made to it. It was very affordable, considered very entry level, and it was also the one that was the most open source. Like, people mod them all the time and the company doesn't care. They're like, yeah, go ahead, open source it up. And because of that, she was like, start here. And she was right. Famously, I've kind of talked on the streams about how I had very little experience with computers, building computers, building small electronics. I was much more of a woodworker. I had done some molding and casting of toys, all those kinds of things. Painting, I certainly had some experience with. But I had very little experience with building small electronics, which is essentially what you're doing with a 3D printer, especially one that needs to be assembled when you get it. And my wife's hunch that I would be a natural with the 3D printer was pretty spot on. I opened it Christmas morning, Christmas Eve, or Christmas Day in the evening. Somewhere around 6 o'clock, I brought the box down here into the workshop and started clearing a spot on the workbench for it to go. And about an hour later, including time to clean up and set up, the printer was completely built. I had installed all the needed software on my computer, and I was running a test print of a pre-designed piece that comes with it. It was super fast in that regard. Like, it came together very quickly. And yeah, within 48 hours, I had taught myself some Tinkercad and was printing my first 3D printed replicas of Matchbox Superchargers monster trucks. So yeah, I figured it out pretty quick because as soon as I realized, like, wow, I have this incredible tool at my disposal, I had to work on it. You know, house with a basement and a study. We were lucky when we found this one. The basement is a full height basement. You don't get those a lot in New England. Just a dumb luck on our part. All right. That's a lot of yapping about that, which is, I mean, admittedly, why we're here. We're here for the conversations. But I do need to continue on this work while we're on the stream. Got to clean my brush off here. For those who wonder what I'm doing off screen, I'm taking this brush. I have 2 jars of water. This is the much dirtier one. and I will push it clear up against the side like that with just a little pressure, and I will spin it so it sort of wrings itself out underwater. And then I switch into the cleaner jar, and I sort of do the same. Give it some swirls, even let it touch the bottom a little. And then I just lay it out on paper towels. The joy of using these acrylic craft paints really works well with just water to clean up. Myra Marks, welcome in. Welcome, my friend. I've been in hundreds of full-height basements in New England. That was a confusing statement for me. Well, here in Western Mass, I feel maybe they're not as common. I mean, it also depends on what you think of as full height, right? For a lot of people, full height is like they can walk upright, but like I'm 6'3", so like the fact that I can do this, that's huge. I can, over in my gym, I can just my gym that's hidden on the other side of those walls back where the lights get colorful. I can just barely do overhead presses. Going off of the height of my basement, I had skate ramps in it. Yo, let's go. That's sick. Oh, that's so cool. All right. So these guys, the sunglasses are all done. The sunglass painting can look a little bit messy, and that's okay. The sculpt of the sunglasses is a little bit messy itself. So really, all the painting of that is just a reflection of the sculpt. And once we get the hair painted on here, that's really going to bring this together. So we are going to break out the color I use for my beard and hair and get working on that. That is this King's Gold. Makes me sound really conceited. It just happens to sort of be a pretty good cartoony reflection of like a dirty blonde. It's just how my hair grows in. Let's see. You've never done a full house tour, but I haven't seen many bookshelves. We have tons of bookshelves upstairs. They are tucked and hidden in many different corners. Our office has a bunch that are just off camera from where I stream, because I try to keep my wife uses that office to work. So I keep that hidden because that's her space. And then I do have a bookshelf that's right next to me that I have one shelf where I have a bunch of little trinkets and toys that I will use for show a toy. We also have a few bookshelves in the living room that are just overflowing. One of the reasons I don't do a house tour is our house is a mess. It's a mess. And part of that is the bookshelves because we do not have enough bookshelves for the number of books we have. In fact, just off camera here over in the dark corner, there are a couple of boxes that just have books in them. We don't have the space to put them all out. On top of that, I've been to tons of punk shows. I've been to a lot of basement punk shows too back in the day, so I totally get that. I guess it depends on the size of the house, right? Like that's part of it. Like this house is really small. We live in a very, very small house, purposely small. We have I would describe it as 1.5 bedrooms. The half bedroom we turned into an office space. Yeah, also the age of the house for sure. I think newer houses tend to be more likely to have a full height basement in New England. This house is pretty young. This house is slightly, I think, just 2 years older than I am, or 2 years younger. I can't recall. The house I grew up in, however, was a couple hundred years old. And that basement I could not stand up in. My dad can. He's considerably shorter than I am, but I cannot stand up in it. I will brain myself on the ceiling. I love my Bigfoot monster truck workshop stool, but there's a couple bolts on it that always come loose, and then I can kind of just rock it. Drives me crazy. Oh, 69? That's new construction. My parents' house the house I grew up in was built in like the late was it the late 1700s? The late 1700s or the mid 1800s. It was old. Yeah. I think 1950s and after is probably correct. I think the post-war boom where people had a lot of extra money to be like, give me some space in that house. I think you're absolutely right about that. All right. So I have this little brush that has quickly become one of my favorites for doing the facial hair and hair on these figures. And I'm just going to kind of do all of it in one go per figure. I'm going to do the beard, the outline of the hair, and then fill in the hair like I normally do. I think that's the move here, is to just dig right in and keep moving. But I'll do my best to keep an eye on the chat as we go along here. It also means I can kind of come back here and just keep the point of the brush nice and flat, I guess, is really one of the concerns here. There's some other wrestlers with toys now, and I love that. And a couple of them asked me, as they were trying to paint some of their own, they asked me how I get my painting so precise, because when they try, it's really hard. And I told them what I believe to be true is you can be incredibly precise in your painting. You just have to be willing to lose a lot of time to it. Because if you go slowly, you can get everything just the way you want it. It's not a matter of skill in my eye, because I don't believe I really have a ton of skill at this. What I do have in spades is patience. Yes, the second layer on the sunglasses, after everything is clear coated, I'm going to take my my mirror chrome pen, my liquid chrome, and I'm going to do just where the lenses go. And when I say that the chrome on that is good, it's hard to differentiate between like actual, like the chroming they do on like Matchbox cars. So, it is shiny. It looks real good. So I think that's going to be a very cool, slick little look that's going to really add to these. Yeah. I believe it was last week. You and a couple other folks in the chat were suggesting that, and I just couldn't help but think like, yeah, that's the move. Sometimes you just got to trust the chat. Myra, can you get like a pearlescent marker, one that just like only adds like a shiny, colorful, reflective film and no color? Because then it would be cool to do that on the lenses, so they're like polarized. So one similar thing I had considered is I have transparent UV resin. This is all printed in UV resin. I have transparent UV resin that when it is used by itself, like when it's just applied somewhere and then cured very quickly, it comes out incredibly like crystal clear. So I considered maybe going in with some of that on it, but the chrome looks really good on a black surface, and since I'll have already clear coated it, the surface will also be glossy. You put that chrome paint, glossy, dark surface. Oh, so good. So that's the plan for now. I may do, I'm going to have other figures in the future. I've joked about doing a streamer Perry figure, and if I do that, Gotta have my glasses on. And if I'm wearing regular glasses, not sunglasses, I need clear lenses. So I think that's kind of where I would use that, you know? But I like where your head's at. Everyone watching always has some great ideas about, like, hey, here's a way we could make this thing look really wild. And I love that because, I believe that the greatest decisions artistically are always made through collaboration. When you think of your favorite artists, your favorite creators in virtually any space, there's always a collaborative element. I mean, Michael Jackson, his albums don't happen without Quincy Jones collaborating with him, Billy Joe doesn't become what he's become without the other members of Green Day collaborating. The Residents are a large collective of artists. Discord on no noise, or mine would be nonstop. Oh yeah, that's mine. Yeah, I didn't mute it while I was on here. It's kind of rushing to just get the stream up because every time I switch from upstairs to down here, it's a whole production. I mean, every stream is a whole production in its own way, See if I can move a little closer, get you a bit of a better view here. What I'm doing now on these edges of the hair, I just follow the very edge of where the sculpt is for the hair. That's where I need to stay precise. And once I've finished that, then I can go in and just kind of fill in the rest, That's one of the nice things about painting something that is three-dimensional as opposed to painting on paper, is that it's got a sort of a coloring book element to it where you have a defined edge and a defined line. And all you have to do is follow that appropriately. And the finished product ends up looking pretty slick. But it is important to have good lighting so you know where your lines are. And again, to take your time. I also find keeping a little wad of paper towel around for when a line gets away from you. I find that is a key move that really can make or break the paint job on a piece. Go. Yeah, nice. All right, and now we're ready to fill in. I can go a little heavier on the paint, a little broader on the strokes. This is sort of the fast part. And the hope here is that if Knee Goblin, welcome, my friend. Hello. The hope here is that these are done being painted today. Look at how slick Perry looks. Look at that handsome bastard. I wish I looked that good. All right, so, set him out of the way where he can dry in peace. The Elmira, I just remembered something. Do y'all remember Swamp Thing? Yeah, I do remember Swamp Thing, and I remember Swamp Thing having an amazing toy. My younger brother and I were just reminiscing about that. He used to have a bunch of them when we were kids. I'm pretty sure they left the house in a parental toy purge at some point, and are just lost to time now. current Swamp Thing comics are awesome. Oh, nice. They tried to reboot the series in 2019. When we were live streaming, we discovered that they did the same thing with Denver the Last Dinosaur not that long ago. How crazy is that? Knee Goblin, Max, how are you? How are things? How has the gym been? You excited for the luau? We're rolling right up on it. For those in the area who may have not heard or may have forgotten, the luau has been relocated from Enfield to Springfield, Massachusetts. Tower Square Mall. Venue mix-ups don't happen often with your prime venues, but when they do, you got to have a backup plan. And the Tower Square Mall has been a great venue for us in the past. A real cool energy, lots of space. It's going to be great. Oh my goodness. This one. State champs coming to Worcester. Let's go. Let's go. Cause I'm a realist and an optimist, but I swear to you, not getting over this. Hell yeah. See, there's a state champs in wrestling now. Yes, I wrestled them down at Power Pro. Two lovely young lads. Lovely, lovely young lads. Great kids. The band is our huge wrestling fans. Is/are. Also wrestlers who use state champs as your theme song. Yeah, there are a few. I remember Scotty Wilde used state champs for his entrance theme. I don't know if he still does. He and I haven't wrestled on a show together in like years now. But Scotty Wilde, one of the homies. Adam NX67, welcome in. What is my favorite number? My favorite number is taken directly from Weird Al Yankovic. It is a number he uses in virtually everything he does. And it is the number on his chest when he is running on the cover of Running with Scissors. And that number is 27. 27. Favorite number. Let's see. Brain is not remembering PVV at EPL. How is this possible? It was last year. Actually, kind of about this time. I feel like it was maybe in July. Myself and Rip went as Mad, and we teamed in a 4-way tag against Andy Brown and Unicorn Party, the state champs, and Fist, the team of Travis Huckabee and Ryan Mooney. Yeah, that would have been about a year ago. I want to say it was last July or August. It might have even been later than that. It might have been like October, maybe? September? That's right. It was like a week after Rip and Delmy got married. So, yeah, it would have been September, I guess. Yeah, their honeymoon was a Power Pro Lucha show. That's not true. They went to Japan weeks later. D Goblin, thank you for the subscription. 6 months in a row. My goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love Andy Brown. Andy Brown's a man. I got to hang with him a bunch this past weekend. He brought along Julesy and Fozzy, who were my opponents at Pro Wrestling Grind in our triple threat match. And I was glad for it because those kids could cook, baby. Woo! Those kids were working. They were making me work. Good on them for it. You know, I was sort of talking with some other folks when I started talking with. I knew Julesy and had seen his work a bit. Fozzy, I was completely unfamiliar with. When we started talking before the match, we kind of got into like a little of the meat and potatoes of what we were doing. And there are certain questions a wrestler can ask you that really gives you a good indication, like, yeah, this is someone who can go. This is someone I can trust. And the moment came with Fozzy where I called something, and he smiled and he said, "Oh, that's gonna be real good." And then he paused and he said, "Can we try it one time?" That self-awareness that you should try a thing and not just trust your own judgment that, no, I'll be fine. That is huge, and something that not enough young wrestlers necessarily do. Sometimes it's out of fear. They don't want to seem like they don't know what they're doing. I get that. So, there's an anxiety to talking with experienced wrestlers, especially if you're like Fozzy, who is in his, I believe, first year of wrestling. And he's talking to someone who is in year 18. I get that. I'm a fan of Unicorn under his other persona. Actually, one of his personas was my serious fave for a bit. And when
I need photos of Spider-Man.
This is a poetry journal.
Okay, then poems about Spider-Man. And I want to finish before you start. And before you finish, give me some coffee. And the poem should have the following rhyme scheme: ABBAABBACDECDE. What are you waiting for? Chinese New Year?
Adamanic67, thank you. Our third cheer of the stream. We're cooking with cheers and subs. Let's go. I'm not familiar with his other character. I know the guy under that costume pretty well from my days performing with Kaiju Big Battle. But I was not aware that he wrestled under other personas. I knew he was a ref in a few places. But yeah, a great dude. Great dude. Really, someone I really enjoy being around. All right, and there we go. That is, if it'll ever focus on him, let's see. Come on, figure it out. Anyways, number 2. He's jealous of that. All right, let's set him off to the side to start drying. We're making good progress. We're a third of the way through the hair, and yes, Dan. Kwefka. I'm unfamiliar with Kwefka. Kwefka. I don't know what that is. But what is that? Kwefka the Quiet. I'm unfamiliar. What's that from? I'm about to get a lore drop. We're about to tell me what this is about. About to learn about Kwefka. Oh, it's a Chikara thing. Okay, yeah, from that one era of Chikara that, like, yeah, I didn't see any of it. Yeah, late Chikara amongst wrestlers does not have a great reputation. There are some unkind ways that it is described that I will not repeat because I think some of it is fairly cancelable language. I don't actually know if it is, but it's certainly not anything I would say on stream. And I might tell someone privately, yeah, this is what people call it. It's not really a thing I like to say. Yeah, it's not something that is revered amongst pro wrestling who have been in that era of Chikara. Well, yeah. One of the nice things about batching these, where you're sort of doing the same parts over and over. Wait, we were owed some Perry lore, aren't we? I don't think so. I think I paid up on all the lore drops. I'm fairly certain I paid up on all those. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but the last lore drop that came on stream was last week during the during this, actually. It was during Workshop Wednesday. where I talked about. I showed some physical media I was in. I showed some of the Japanese magazines and stuff I was in. That was part of the Lord Rob. That was the visual part more than anything. But I also talked some storyline stuff, some booking ideas that never happened. The original way I was going to grind Grand. I think that was the last earned lore drop on here. I can't recall. Name another company who did a full-on ARG and actually delivered. I don't know what ARG stands for. But I know toward the end of Chikara, the thing that most wrestlers really are critical of was the actual wrestling. You know, storyline-wise, character-wise, Chikara was always its own thing with bits of brilliance and bits of forgettable nonsense, which isn't always a bad thing. You know, it had both. It had both for sure. You know, I was a fan. I was buying tickets and going when I was in college, but that was early Chikara. That was 06, early 07. I was there the night Tim Donst debuted. I was there the night Amasis debuted. Alternate reality game. Follow clues in the real world like a video game. They did that? That's the other thing. I feel like not a lot of people knew what they were doing. Like, people would just watch the shows and not know about the rest of that stuff. Admittedly, that those were certainly the waning days of Chikara. You know, I think at that point they had the least attention they'd ever had publicly. Because I can recall a time when people wouldn't stop talking about Chikara, but I think after the initial shutdown, the one where they split into like 8 different companies and then finally came back, I don't think they ever rekindled what they had again. There was definitely some good creative stuff going on. There always is in every company, really. But yeah, you know, Tons had no idea. That was a big issue for us who did follow it. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, to say they pulled it off, did they then? Right? Like, if most people didn't understand or know what they were doing, can you call that a success? You know? I mean, maybe it depends on how you're looking at it. A creative success? Probably. But, yeah. I don't really care about others, though. Well, sure. Well, but the problem is, Chikara was a business. You know, it was Andy Kaufman's manager, George Shapiro, or at least Danny DeVito playing him, who famously said, or it wasn't even his character, it was the character of a club manager who was mad at Andy Kaufman about some of his behavior, who said, it's show business. Without the business, there is no show. And that's the thing, like, no matter how creative you are, no matter how great the art is, if the audience doesn't connect or understand it, hard, if you're running a business, again, if you're, if you're a painter, if you're doing art for art's sake, that's different. But that's certainly not what Quack was doing. Now, I'll give it to you. He was ambitious. Taking on those challenges in the situation he was in, incredible. Are you aware that that PPL actually is Chikara, basically? Well, yes and no. I mean, there's a bunch of companies now that are basically just kind of Chikara. But yes, I am aware of that. The lack of in-person involvement of certain unspeakable folks is the reason I was comfortable going there when I went. Since then, they are much more closely tied with some folks that I would not associate with, so I don't know that I would go back. I think I would have to be very clear about who is or isn't booked on the show for me to go back. Of course, Quack's quietly involved. Quack's quietly involved in everything. Facebook started feeding me his frickin' faux manosphere influencer crap on my feed a while back. I had to go and block the page. I love a guy who never, didn't make a guy who, by wrestling standards, didn't make it, so to speak, depending on what you view as making it. Having an entire YouTube channel explaining to wrestlers how to make it. Very strange. Like, I certainly would not have a YouTube channel telling people how to make it. You know what I mean? But Quack being quietly involved, to my mind, he's not at the shows. No one involved in the shows will admit he's involved. So it's an unproven thing. It's something we can all assume, but not any direct evidence of it. So until there is, they stay on my, I'd probably go work there. Now, if they're going to openly book like Gulak or people like that, that's a different thing. Yeah. You just went ahead and called him who shall not be named Soldier Ant. Soldier Ant isn't there. Nor, at least when I was there, nor is the person who used to wear the costume. Not there. Now, it's possible he's there now. I don't keep an eye on what they book. Not my circus, not my elephants. No, he just trains them. Yeah, but not the entire roster is from that school, so it's hard to say, oh, he trains them. It's not like it's not the Catch Point promotion. It's its own thing, being run by. I mean, I know who the bookers and owners are, and they're not those people. So it's complicated, but whatever. I don't get booked there, so none of my business. I worked there one time a year ago and had a lovely experience. It was far too far of a drive, but as long as the problem people are not publicly involved, I'd go back. A lot of my friends are there. And the show itself is a lovely space full of lovely people. Follow Soldier Ant account on IG and it started posting again. Oh, interesting. Well, that's the joy of a gimmick that requires a mask. You can put anyone under there and keep the character alive. Oh, 9:30. We're making good progress here. We are making good progress. These figures are coming right along. Looking like Perry on a beach day with these sunglasses. I got some beach days coming up. I can't wait. I'm doing my cardio outside, getting a base tan built up so I don't get too burnt at the beach. And let me tell you, I don't want to jinx it. Everybody. I don't want to jinx it. But it's looking, I may have a Disney trip in mind. The not too distant future. It is distant, but not too distant. And also some other fun stuff. But I don't want to jinx it yet. I'll know a lot more tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning I will have a much clearer picture of my proposed trip for some Disney stuff and some other very cool stuff, all of which I'm planning to vlog. So it's all stuff I'll be sharing because it's going to be pretty cool. For those keeping track, I'm on one of my longest Disney breaks right now. I'm at just over 2 years since the last time I was in a Disney park. Pre-canceled wrestler eventually finds work again because America. No, it's not even because America. It's because wrestling is a seedy underbelly, entertainment avenue, and it always has been. Thankfully, most of those canceled wrestlers have to work like the worst promotions that no one's ever heard of. I do got a YouTuber. I got the YouTuber. If you type !YouTube into the chat, all the link skis are going to come right up for us. Nightbot will hook us up. All right, two more. We're making great progress, guys. Making great progress. We've had a couple cheers. Thank you, folks. I did say in the post to come on in, watch the show, and cheer me on. Some of you taking that rather literally, and I appreciate it. Every penny counts gets us a little closer to that goal. That bits goal on the channel. When we surpass that, I will have paid off the fancy new lights that we bought upstairs for the streaming area, and we will move on to the next goal. I would like to have that goal finished before the all-day stream on July 11th. For those keeping track, that all-day stream, our next all-day stream, it's going to go by on the ticker. July 11th, my birthday, 42nd birthday. I'm going to celebrate all day on Twitch with you fine folks. And I've got some very cool stuff planned. Johnny Torres has helped me put together some of what I have planned, and once I've got everything working and tested, I will announce what we'll be doing. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be different from the last all-day stream. But, I love the last all-day stream, and we may do another one like that again. But I like the idea of making them all a little different. Thank you, Reed Cooper. I would have put it in there myself, but my hands are, as you can see, fairly occupied at the moment. All right, looking good, looking good. We're on to the hair here. Whew. Yeah, looking forward to that all-day stream. If we beat that bits goal before then, we're going to have a special bits goal that day. I talked about it a little bit on stream last night. That recently I was trying to make sure I hadn't missed any photos with monster trucks that needed to go into I have a little story highlight on Instagram. That's all the pictures I've taken with monster trucks since I started this gimmick, since I became the human monster truck. And in the process of checking that, I realized I only had one spot left in that story. Those stories will hold 100, or that highlight. Those highlights will hold 100 stories. And that means that since I started this gimmick, since I started this persona, I have taken 99 photos with monster trucks. And I think number 100 should be something special. I'm not sure what. I don't have a firm idea of what that will be, but I know I want to go to Monster Jam at the end of July. And I'm going to take pictures with the trucks there. So if I'm going to do something other than a Monster Jam truck, it's got to happen before then. If anyone has any suggestions, I am open to them. I've considered reaching out to the Burseys. The Burseys are a family in the New Hampshire area, over in eastern New Hampshire. who have monster trucks, and they race them. They have the excavator truck as well as Toasaurus. And they do have one of the old, not the OG, not the very original 80s Toasaurus, but they have the mid-90s Toasaurus fully restored. And I've thought about reaching out to them, like next time, I mean, really it would be this weekend for RAD. I would reach out to them and say, hey, I've got a show nearby. Is there any chance I could convince you, even pay you something, to throw the tires on the truck, bring it outside onto the property into the sunlight just so I can snap a picture with it? And that would be picture 100. I think that would be cool because it's a classic truck. Problem is, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them to. It's a lot of work. They know who I am. We're friendly and we've spoken a bit, so it's possible they'd be totally open to it. If it was around, I'd say grab a pic with the polar bear truck. Yeah, that truck doesn't get out this way, unfortunately. There's not that many different tours that come through New England. So whatever it is, it has to be before the end of July when I hit Monster Jam in Gillette. Otherwise, it'll be one of the trucks there, which a photo with Gravedigger, a fresh photo with Gravedigger, is not the end of the world. That's a cool picture for picture 100. You know, a classic truck. Gravedigger's a classic. But I have a bunch with Gravedigger already. And it's a little cliche. I don't mind it being cliche, but it is a little cliche. So I wish I had been at the Bigfoot open house this past weekend, where they had the restored snakebite truck, because that would have been really cool, because I've never seen snakebite in person. Got one little dot of paint that got away here, and that's kind of driving me nuts. I'm gonna grab. I have an X-Acto. Oh, you know what? Put with this. I keep a couple little pointy blade pieces and sculpting pieces around so I can just chip paint like that away. So I'm going to see if I can clean that up just a little bit. And if it ends up really ugly and I don't like what it does to the figure, this will be the one that stays with me for my archives. I always keep the worst one for myself. Actually, look at that. Like it was never there. Ah, nice. I'm actually going to clean up. There's a little edge here that I don't like. Clean that up too. Ah, beautiful. Yeah. Looking good, Pear Bear. There we go. The Goblin. I made the mistake about asking about supplements on Twitter. Now everyone has different answers. Help. Okay. Talk to me. Yeah, delete the post. Follow your heart is fine advice. Talk to me, Knee Goblin. Because for those who don't know, I have run the gambit of fitness goals and fitness outcome. I've been incredibly heavy. I've been incredibly skinny. I've been muscly and jacked, and everywhere in between. And I can give guidance. So I need to know, like, what are your goals? What direction are you going? Are you trying to put on muscle? Are you trying to just lean out? Like, those are what I need. Creatine. What'd it do? Is it good for body recomp, so losing fat and building muscle? Does it? Gussy it up however you like. The question is, does it work? The sunglasses are lopsided now, Perry. They were lopsided before. This one may be the one that stays with me. We'll figure it out. I'm not all that worried about it. The sunglasses are a little bit wonky on all of them, but that's kind of part of the charm. So let's talk creatine. You will hear different things from different people. Really, what it comes down to is, in my experience, it definitely does work, but it's about how you use it. I tend to only take creatine on days that I lift. That is not the correct way to use it. You're supposed to take it every day. I always use it as an intra-workout part of my intro workout shake. So if I don't work out, I kind of don't end up consuming it. Some people say creatine won't help with that goal. Skyro says it will. IDK, I've seen Skyros. He seems to know what he's doing. He definitely does. Creatine was a big game changer for me. It is something your body produces naturally, but not in the quantities you necessarily need it to help speed up some of these goals. So I would say yes to creatine, and here is my advice on how to use it. This is what's important. Take it every day with lots of water. Stay well hydrated when you are on creatine. Like, really watch that, because if you don't, it will mess with your tummy a little. And even like if you drink a little too little water one day, it will mess with your tummy that day. Like it's very quick how it happens. I prefer powdered creatine far over any type of capsule. You're robotic already in bed. Let's go. Does this guy know how to party or what? Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Already in bed. Hell yeah. And then you will hear people tell you with creatine that there is a load-in phase where you take a whole bunch every day until eventually you kind of peter off and you only take 5 grams a day. That is not necessary. That is outdated and irrelevant. 5 grams a day, which is the amount that every creatine will tell you on the thing. You have the little scoop that'll come in your creatine. That is exactly 5 grams. That is the amount to take. If I have to choose between having a little bit less than that, if I'm running low, or if I have a little bit more than that, like if I pull the scoop up and it's kind of a big rounded scoop, I'll err on the side of a little bit more. It's a tiny pinch of powder. Not going to make a huge difference. I don't get precious with it. But it absolutely makes a difference. You will find that you recover faster from workouts. You will find that you have more energy in your workouts. And an interesting thing, this is one of the things people don't talk enough about when it comes to weight loss, body recomp, all that kind of stuff, is that, everyone's goal when they work out at some level is abs. Everyone wants to be toned and have abs. And everyone thinks that there are one of 3 ways, or a combination of 3 ways to get them. And those 3 things are working your core, cardio, or careful diet. And the truth is, all of those are good. Working your core, crunches, won't give you abs. That's not a thing. Cardio will work better, but on its own, it's not enough. Diet can get you there, but again, on its own, it's not really enough. The thing that they don't tell you about is that building muscle everywhere else is the fastest way to get abs, and there's a simple reason for it. Having muscle, maintaining muscle, is something that is done primarily by your own metabolism. And if you have a lot of muscle mass, you burn far more calories sitting, laying, sleeping than you do if you don't have that muscle. And the more calories you burn off, the less fat is able to be stored. Fat is stored evenly everywhere in the body, everywhere. There is no such thing as like stubborn fat areas. The fat storage in your body is equal in every area. It all falls off at about the same rate. It's the reason you never see someone with like veiny, muscly arms, but like a jiggly tummy. They might be rounded, but that's it. That's right, Herobotic. You're on your way. Let those muscles rest. They need it. They need it. So yeah, weight training. The creatine is a huge help. Absolutely. No question. no question whatsoever. And I would say, the cardio is helpful. The diet is always important. Like, I can remember years ago talking to a wrestler I knew who was 100% a body guy. And he told me flat out, he would 10 times out of 10, he would miss a workout long before he would miss a meal. He felt that staying on diet was infinitely more important than getting all his workouts. Both are important, but the diet was more important. All right, let me get caught up on the chat here. I've been rambling and ranting while I finished the hair on this guy. And he is looking crisp and handsome. Look at that dashing son of a gun. All right, let's take a look here. Bloopy, La Blupa de Reina, welcome, my friend. Welcome in. Excited for my mini. I'm excited to get that out. They're going to go out early July is the plan because there are accessories being made, all of which I will get at the Blitzkrieg Luau the last weekend of June. Excuse me. Once I have all that stuff, I'm going to get everyone's shipping info and get everything sent out to everyone. For those who weren't here last week, and I think everyone was, we had a very cool giveaway with this. It's actually still sitting here. This prototype Perry. The other proto Perry, the one-piece Perry, is already with our good friend Encrypted Cryptid. She got that at Grind. And we're going to be sending that out along with a few other goodies to some other folks who were also involved in that giveaway. It was very cool. Let's see. Knee Goblin says, also, how long to see physical results? Like shortly after working out or again after taking it a bit? I'm not trying to get shredded. My body naturally isn't built to be super lean or skinny. Just kind of want to be a bit more toned, muscular in some areas. That's totally, yeah. hang on, Nicka Beans and the Griffin. I'm going to get to those comments in a second. So in terms of the difference you'll see from taking creatine to not, again, I take mine during my workout. So I feel it and it helps get a pump. It helps the muscles really absorb everything. That's its job, is to help your muscles absorb protein that comes in, absorb water that comes in, so they're hydrated and fuller, which helps them be stronger and you can lift more. And that recovery will happen faster. So that's all huge. The general rule of thumb that I find, if you are consistent with your workouts, consistent with your diet, consistent with supplements, the rule I find is that you will physically feel a difference in 1 week. You, in a mirror, will start to notice differences in as quick as 2 weeks, sometimes 3. 3 is a safe number, 2 is the ambitious number. Other people will start to notice a difference in 4 to 6 weeks. In the grand scheme of things, that is so fast. There was some movie star, I forget who, doesn't matter, they're all douchebags. There was some movie star who had gotten in crazy good shape after not being in shape, who pointed out that it took him 3 months to go from a heavy-set comedy actor to a jacked action hero. And that was with, of course, crazy prep meals that were made for him. He didn't have to do that. Having a trainer there all the time, having great supplements all the time, and whatever else he was doing. But 3 months is a pretty reasonable number for just about anybody if you are fully consistent on both diet and exercise, and to a lesser degree, supplements. Supplements are a nice finishing touch on that. You can get by without them if you're good on the other two. And the thing that this movie star said that has stuck with me forever, because he said it took him 3 months, he kind of just looked up and he said, if you're really miserable with how you look and how you feel and how other people see you and you want to work out and diet and get in shape, you really have to ask yourself, what am I doing the next 3 months that's that important? What have I got going on that's more important than doing something like working out a bit and thinking more about my food? And I thought that was a really interesting way to look at it. what do I have going on that's more important than my own physical well-being, and to a lesser extent, my mental well-being? If it really is something where I'm going to feel better mentally for that change. So that's something to think about. Nicobene says, you mean Deathmatch Perry? And Encrypted Cryptid says, Proto Perry. Yes, the toy that you got, Encrypted Cryptid, was the first Perry action figure. And it was one that I was still learning to print them properly. I was printing it on a filament machine instead of resin. And what Nicobeans is referring to on the back is where all the support material was sort of attached, and it did not come off cleanly. So the back is all gnarled and awful. It looks like Perry had been in a death match. So yes, deathmatch Perry. All right, let's take a look at these legs. I think they got to be pretty close to cured and dried. And if that's the case, you're feeling pretty good about that. I'm going to change your angle here just a little so you can all sort of see what I'm working on here. And let's get a look. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to back you all up here. Sorry, my apologies. I'm going to hit these with just a little bit of the light heat gun here. V for Vendetta Perry or Spawn Perry. I'll take that. All right. On the lighter heat side on this, so it's not quite as hot. Sorry for the noise, folks. And I'm just gonna from a good distance give this a little bit of help finishing its cure. You can all see on there, I don't know if it's reading on camera, I'm probably 7-8 inches away and keeping it moving. I don't want it in one spot. And I do have it on the low heat setting, so it's not nearly as hot. Like I can put it right up on myself and it takes way longer before it's uncomfortable. Okay, that's looking pretty good. The rest of these are looking really good. Like I can probably just do them while they're up here. Yeah, I don't even know that they need it necessarily. They're looking pretty cured up here. I just want to make sure as I handle them, I don't end up, messing anything up. All right, that's looking good. Set this out of the way. We're going to take all of these down. Thankfully, they stand on their own, so they can just sit here. Then I can get this rack out of the way. Okay. Let's get you all back to a better view of what's happening here. Pretty good. All right, so we got our board shorts started here. And what I would like to do is down the other leg, I would like a few little floral pieces, almost like a stamp. And that means we got to make one. Oh, now I got to find a creatine to try, lol. If you want, Max, hit me with a message on like Instagram. I can send you a link of what I use. I always try to get creatine where the only ingredient is creatine. I believe it's usually described as ionized creatine, which is just their way of saying it's powder. It'll come in a tin barely bigger than my fist, but I've got big hands. And I like that it's just creatine. I don't like anything added in there. I did just get some discount stuff that I found at a store that was like, hey, here's some stuff that we're selling for half off that had some flavoring in it. I'm not really looking forward to when I switch over to that. But because I mix mine with my amino acids, which if you're not taking branched chain amino acids as well, they are essentially just, the branched chain amino acids that make up protein. It's the 9 essential amino. I get mine. They come in a little blueberry, a snow cone flavor, I guess. And it's 1 scoop of that, 1 scoop of creatine, a bunch of water, and it goes in my shaker, and that's my intra beverage for when I'm working out. But yeah, I'd be happy to send you a link of what I get. It's not terribly expensive, I don't think. I want to say it's like $20 a thing of it, and the thing of it is like a month and a half's worth of creatine. So it does do a pretty good job. I will say, for the people who say that creatine doesn't work, usually one of two things is the case for them. Either they are not hydrating enough, so all it's doing is upsetting their stomach, and that is not working well. I do take the BCAAs daily as well, yes. I take the two together always. With the people who say that creatine doesn't work, either they're not hydrating well enough, which means their stomach's getting upset, which means there's a lot of food they're not absorbing, or they wouldn't work for your goals specifically. I don't think that that's accurate. There's a lot of myths around creatine. People say like, oh, it gets you real bloated, you retain a lot of water. That's really only if you're not working out. And that's like, the same can be said of protein supplements, taking protein. It's not going to work if you don't work out. So, that's one of the things. Like, one of the reasons I personally like supplements is that they cost some money. And if I spend that money, I'm going to use them. I'm only going to use them if I'm working out, because otherwise they kind of just, they don't do what you want them to do. They kind of don't work well at all for you. They can make you put on weight if you're not working out. So when I spend the money on supplements, it's a financial it's a financial burden I put on myself to then deliver with my workouts. Similarly, I stick to my diet a lot better if I'm working out, because I hate the idea of putting in this effort of lifting weights and getting outside and doing all this cardio, only to undo it with a bunch of unhealthy food. So, something to think about. Okay, so if I'm going to do a little floral print on the other side of this, I got to figure out how I'm making a stamp for that. I have some tools here for it, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So one thing I had considered was on the end of this, if I cut this kind of flat and then put a divot down the middle, I could use that as the outside of it and just do a little boom, boom, boom. Use that as a stamp. That's a maybe. I also have these Dollar Tree sponges. They're a little chunky for what I'm doing, and I think there would be a fair bit of sculpting of what I need to do, so I don't think that's going to be my solution, but I have used those for stamp pieces previously. Protein is one thing I've been confident in. I know a lot of people who think more protein equals more fat gain, but it's actually the other way. Protein is essential for weight loss. Honestly, it can do both. More protein can absolutely be more fat gain, depending on how that protein is getting into your system. If the more protein is, oh, I'm eating a lot more, beef, I'm eating a lot more meat. Yeah, there's a lot of fat that goes with meat. Like that's what it is. There's tons of fat in all kinds of meat, even fish. Like you eat a chunk of salmon, there's a ton of fat in there, but that's not always a bad thing. Again, it all depends on if you're doing the work to synthesize that protein into muscle. That's really what it comes down to. And if you are consistent, which only has to be 4 days a week in terms of weight training, you can do cardio on the other days, cardio on the same day. But if you are consistent, it'll get there. You just have to play the long game. The short-term gains, like I say, 2 weeks, you'll feel it, or 1 week, you'll feel it, 2 to 3 weeks, you'll see it, 4 to 6, other people will see it. That's true, but that's just like the beginning of changes that you're noticing. You want to get to where there's like, hey, I did the thing, now I just have to maintain. That's a whole different game. That can take, a few months, or depending on how ambitious a goal is, it could take years. All of which is fine, because you slowly start to learn that you kind of enjoy the process, or at least that's been my experience. All right. That's a lot of yakking without a lot of progress. So I have some clippers here. I'm going to see if I can rearrange this into some kind of stamp. And it's possible that I can't, and maybe I need a finer tool, but I'll give it a shot. Okay, that's pretty good. That's a good clean end. I like that. So now if I can... see, start, but barely a bad thing. Okay. Now this may actually work. I've got this sort of prong piece. And let's, I'm going to take some of this yellow that I had here and do a quick little test to see if this is going to do what I want it to do, because I think this is going to work. I need something to do this. A piece of paper would be ideal, because that's what it'll show up best on. Of course, why would I have paper? It's an art studio of sorts. All right, I can use, this is very light colored cardboard. This will work. Thank you, oh wise master. No, hey, you know, I'm happy for the conversation. I hope that it's actually helpful. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm going to use this as a stamp where I'm just going to go in here, kind of bop, bop, bop around till I get some coverage there. Now what I'm sort of picturing, I want to do it somewhere that it'll show on camera. I'm going to do one like that, one like that, and one like that. Oh, and that. Let's see if the camera will focus. That's sort of the flower design I want. I can't believe that worked. Guys, I'm a genius. Come on, we did it. We did it. Let's see, can I get this in better light? Yeah, I don't know if you're seeing that, but that's kind of what I was envisioning. So that's great news. Now then, get this out of the way, get this out of the way. Wipe this off with some paper towel, because we're going to go with a different color than that. All right, that was some real easy stamp making. And then I think I'm just going to use, I need like a very small, like a dowel or something to just bloop a little color right into the middle. And I might just use the back end of one of these paint brushes. Whichever one is the smallest, and I think this is, yeah, the back end of that. All right, so that's what we're going to do. And because this, I'm going to say right now, this set of legs will probably be the ones I keep for my collection. This is what we're going to do it in. Now I have to pick the flower color for the other side, and I'm kind of thinking, you know, I want to go darker than the green for the color, so I don't have to try to do multiple layers. Multiple layers would be hell with this. So let me take a look and see what I have. I know the that navy blue that we used before, that's going to be the center of each flower. That's going to be the bud. I don't know what the hell do they call that center part? My wife would know. She knows plants. I don't know anything. So if I'm doing that dark center, do we do like a yellow around the rest of it? Do we find like maybe like a yellow? I don't know. What color do you all think is going to work over both? Because I want to do them the same on both of these. You know, Reed actually said, what if we did green flowers here and orange flowers here and we kind of matched them? That might work. These were custom colors, which makes it a little complicated, but not impossible. Nothing's impossible. So maybe we try that. Maybe we give that a shot and just see how it plays. If that's the case, I got to do it on the sale ones first, because I want to do the light colors first. I'm taking pink for the green, like Patrick. Oh, you know, I do have like a really good, like a hot pink here. I do have a really nice, like hot pink. I also have a much brighter pink, multi-surface satin, baby pink. Yeah, so I have both of those. I think this one here is probably the better one. Let's see. or you can just customize mine. The other pre-order in the chat is Nika Beans, and then the other pre-order, as I'm calling it, is me. I think you're. Let's see. Wait, Patrick is purple. Lol. I mean, I don't mind the idea of pink either. Pink would be kind of cool. Pink with the dark center. But like, I also don't mind like just making a match. Do we do pink on both? Maybe. I don't know. What do we think? Reed Cooper, because you have a pre-order coming to you that is going to be green. Do you want an orange flower on there, or do you want pink flower? What do you think? What do you think? See if I can find that orange again. There we go. I'm going to have to make this a little darker if it's going to match that, but that's doable. Orange or pink? What do we think, Reed Cooper? I'm watching the chat, waiting for your opinion there. It's a tough call. The pinks are, I mean, the pink is promising for sure. I think the orange will work as well on that green. If it'll pop, you know what? We'll try it on mine first, and then we'll see what it does. We'll see if it stands out. If it doesn't stand out, we'll go with the orange for you. And I think I'm going to go with this one. This one is much more, maybe I mix a little of the two together. It'll be this like bubble gum, but maybe a little bit brighter. I don't know. Let's break out a cup and just see what it does, right? You know? Nika Bean says pink. Okay, so for Nika Beans, it'll certainly be pink. I think the pink is going to pop, but we're going to know in a minute. Parfait is a strange word choice. I think parfait is perfect. No, wait. It's not perfect. They're spelled different. Maybe a splash of orange in the pink. Maybe. You might be right. I just don't want to make the pink too dark, and this color is already, I mean, deep. It's a good pink, you know what I mean? Whoa. Exploding out on me a little there. A little paper towel. I shook it up, and it took it to heart. I just know whenever I mix a darker color into a lighter color, I got to be very wary of how much I use. And go wrong very quickly. Very quickly. Stuff is a mess. I'm mad at it. Had to be messy. All right. Let's get some of this down into the cup. Oh boy. Yeah, I might not need to add anything to brighten that up. That is bright. Folks. Come on. Come on. We'll try it on mine first and see how it behaves. And then we can always make it darker, we can make it brighter, we can mix the pink entirely and go with something else. What I'm doing right here, just whacking it on its side, I'm trying to spread it evenly across the bottom of that cup. Because the more even and thin that layer is, the better it's going to work on the stamp. All right, here we go. Moment of truth, baby. We'll do it right down here, and we're going to go boom, boom. Could have done that more cleanly. That's all right. This one's the test one for me. Boom. Put one there. Sort of our flower outline. It's looking pretty. I mean, that's pretty bold. That's what we wanted, was bold. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty good about that. But I need another. Where's my navy blue? Here's the navy blue. What I need to do, come in here with the back end of this brush, get a little dot of it on there that it's never going to focus on. I'm going to go right in the middle of that. Give it a little dot. What do we think? I agree. I think the pink is pretty complementary with that. I think it's looking pretty good. And if anything, I might be able to trim this down just a hair more. I think it's maybe a bit much off the bat, but not unworkable. I'm going to trim this piece down just a hair for the second one on mine. But I got to tell you, this is promising. I think it's looking pretty good. Same thing on this other one. Ever so slightly. There we go. All right, let's try the second one. Day Without Darkness, welcome in. I'll take the Chase Perry bottom too. Wait, hang on, what? Is that are we calling that the pink one? Which one are we calling that? Yeah, flower. Looking pretty good. I'm honestly kind of surprised at how well this is working. Like I'm into it. If you really wanted to, you could do a different color flowers on each. That's true, I could. Reed says the pink looks nice. I agree. I think it pops. Like it's really nice and bright on there. Really pleased with that. All right. If I give it the dot in the middle, boom. Yeah. That is excellent. I am exceedingly pleased with how that looks. Thank you, Herobotic. Just the one that's a test or different. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, that's what I do the same thing, Nicobean. So whatever one I think is not perfect, it's the one I keep. I want to put the best ones out on the merch table for everybody since they're paying for them. And for me, it's just like a record of what I worked on. I'm going to zonk out. Going to be crossing the state tomorrow. So have a great Stardew stream. Heck yeah. Have a safe drive. Assume you're seeing the fam out on the other half of the state. Be sure to say hi to them for me. Tell your mother I said hi. She's a great supporter and a great friend. So, and of course, enjoy. I assume the boy and the wife are going with you. Give them my love as well. We will hang out soon here, Robotic. All right, let's stamp some more flowers. I can't believe how this is looking. Like really, I'm kind of floored by how well this is going. I'm trying to find an angle where you guys can maybe see what I'm doing. I do think getting a fresh bloop of paint each time is going to be helpful. Okay. Boom, flower. Ha! What a ridiculous way to make a stamp. Cutting up a popsicle stick. A very Perry solution to this problem. Yeah. All right. Go in with our two little dots here. You guys, come on. I mean, come on. This is, this is how I was going to do this is something that had been kind of rattling around in my mind since the stream last week where I was trying to have an image in my head of how this would work. The yellow glare coming from on camera. Yellow glare? Is it, let's see. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it. Oh, on the figures. The yellow glare on the figures? I mean, I know they're not really well lit. I don't know. You know, that's the charm of the workshop streams. I don't really know what I'm doing for the setup here. Well, if it persists, let me know. All right. Like that. So that. And like that. Come on. Well, flower petals. Let's go. Oh, it's the paint. The light hits the paint and it. Oh, tricky. That's how they get you. Or at least that's how they're getting me, it would seem. Come on. Pretty good. I'm right back on that same spot. Yeah. Yo. This is coming along so much better than I thought it would. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was not going to be this kind of cool. Boom. Yeah, 2 little flowers on each leg is really nice. All right, now we get to see how it's going to look with the orange. So those are the pre-sales. Those are our test pieces, and I think it looks really good. Now we're going to try it on. These are going to be the ones that go on the old merch table. So I've not yet seen how the pink stands out against the orange. And I'm excited to see what it's going to do. Let's just dive right in. Same deal as before. Oh, I think that's going to look really cool. As our friends, the Bacabellas, might say, another winner. Yeah, come on. It's great. Yo. The pink looks just as good on the orange. Can you believe it? I don't know what I expected. But again, very generally, this is working much better than I had presumed. Come on. Yo, these look so good. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. You can't tell I'm very pleased with myself on how this is going. Boom. I also love that this is like replicable, you know? I like uniformity in the toys that I make. I like them all to feel like they were made by the same person. I like them all to feel like they are the same toy. You know what I mean? And this is tickling a part of my brain that is often not reached quite this way by this work. Yeah, I've started to learn the intricacies of the stamp. But I mean, looking back at the green ones, the green pants, it's looking good there too. Like, when I really, let's, right, like, this is looking, it looks so good. Oh, I'm really pleased with that. Yeah, wow. I'd be really pleased when I take the photos of these all finished. I won't have a completely finished orange one with a Hawaiian shirt to photograph because those will sell, and I won't be here with my photo setup. I have some matte black foam core board that I use as like a background and a floor drop for the good photos of the toys I've made. But I will be getting the leis and the Hawaiian shirts day of, I believe, at the Luau to sell. So those won't make the photographs of the orange trunks that are being sold at the show, but I can photograph the green trunks. Come on. Looking so good. I should write luau on the ass. I may. I may. A lot of time for add-ons like that. That's something I would probably do after the clear coat. I find that very small, fine line work, like writing text or the pupils of the eyes, those kinds of things, are best left till after the clear coat is on, because the clear coat can, oh, come on. Yes, look at that. The clear coat can muck with that a little bit, and I don't want to run the risk of having anything go awry after all this work. All right. Come on. One last pair. Yo, can you believe it? Yeah, making a stamp for this was the move, and I literally had no idea how I was going to do it until we were on stream, like until I was in the space and looking around at what I had to work with, was when I was like, oh, you know what I could do? I am kind of beside myself about how well it's working. All right, and that's the end of the stamp. I can wipe that off and just set it out of the way for now. Don't know that I would throw it out. You never know if I need to fix something or alter something. The last little bits on here. Boom. Come on, let's go. All right, these are moving safely out of the way. Clean off the back end of that brush. Always clean your tools. Nice. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so let's line some up on screen here. See if we can't get a good. You know what, I'll leave them right where they are. I'll go hands free on this one, and we'll see if we can get a good view of what we've done here. I mean, right, you guys? Come on. And then with some of them, you can see the other side. Folks, I think that is looking really good. All right. So the torsos are finished. They can be left alone to their own world. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how these came out. Like, honestly, like, I can't believe how well my silly little makeshift stamp here, that's all it is. I mean, right? Can't believe how well that worked. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to move these out of the way just for now so that they can cure up and not be smudged or anything out of the way. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to break out the arms and we're going to start painting some wrist tape and elbow pads because those are all just one color to work with. And I believe the only colors we have to work with left on these are black. We have to paint knee pads, boots, wrist tape, and an elbow pad on all of them. But the legs need to cure up before we can do much of that there. So for now, I'm going to take just a moment and put a bunch of this paint away. Reds to put oranges, yellows. And the black can stay out here, the blue can go away. All right, I can close that, get that out of the way. And now we just have our black remaining. And we have a small mountain of arms that need some detail work done to them. There we go. For those, I think I want to keep my drying rack close by so I can hang them all up when they're done. Once they're done, there's not really a way to set them down where they don't smudge, so these all have to be hung up. So I have all the torsos on a little cardboard flat here. I'm going to move them out of the way so they can dry of their own accord. In fact, I'm going to move this whole rack out of the way. Set them right here. I'll let this air get at them a little bit. In fact, this whole thing could be probably propped up just a little. Have something for that? I gotta have something for that. There's always something. Let's see. Yes, tune into my Twitch channel where you can watch an aging pro wrestler meander about his workshop looking for items that he should be able to track down much more easily than he does. Thank you, my loyal viewers. All right. So with that, I'm gonna bring my entire drying rack over here. I've got some prototype pieces sitting here that need to move, including Bloopy's big prize from last week. I can't wait to send that out. It's so cool. Sometime soon, for those keeping track, sometime soon, I do have another prototype Perry that I'll be auctioning off. It is an older model of Perry, but it's one that's been up in my room on a display shelf for some time. And I'm also planning to auction off this prototype Delmy at some point soon. So we will have little competitions for those. I'm looking forward to that. He's jealous of that. Sorry, I don't have my soundboard, everybody. Doing the best I can with limited tech. All right, and since I have this out, how many arms do we have? Because I got to hang them all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's right, 6 guys worth of arms. Because the 7th one, they need to be reprinted. So if that's the case, I need that many hooks up on the thing here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up here already. Solid start. Four and 5. I guess I'll hang some of these longer ones too. There's a Delmy. Is there a Vox? There is no Vox. Ashley Vox, who may or may not be currently retired, it's hard to tell, has never had any interest in really having much merch made of herself. She's had some t-shirts in the past, but I believe now, could be wrong, but I think she's just doing AI designs for a lot of her shirts and stuff. I don't know. Ashley's never been one to ask me to make merch for her, so I don't press the issue. She's the more aloof of my sisters, for sure. So that's most of the hooks I'll need. We'll see if we get through all of these, because it is slow going. This is very exacting work. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's, yeah, Delmy and Ashley, my kid sisters. They're 2 very strange kids. They're strange kids. Ashley is a different animal all unto herself. Delmy is a kooky, nutty, crazy nutcase. Mm-hmm. That's right, my kid sisters, yeah. You mean like, as in like brothers? I mean, I have a brother too. Sibling is a point of view, Anakin. If you are asking if I, a very white Polish-Irish guy, is blood relative of 2 Latina sisters, the answer is I'm not. But I might as well be. I don't call them sisters like when the wrestlers call each other brother. I call them sisters because they are like family to me. Very much so. I mean, as best man at Delmy's wedding, I've spent, at this point, we did the math, thousands of hours on the road with both of them. Day Without Darkness, the irony that you're the one saying family is who you make it when you are literally part of my family is pretty excellent. But as part of my actual family, I think you can say none of us would be upset if Delmy and Ashley were part of the family. They're delights. Lovely, lovely people. And I know their families, their actual blood families a bit, and they're lovely people. So, be welcomed with open arms. All right. Oh man, I keep looking over at those board shorts. They look so good. Yeah, I'm not an only child myself. Myself. And the irony that most of the friends that I refer to as being basically siblings to me have never met my actual sibling is pretty crazy. Most of them have met my cousin, Day Without Darkness, who was in the chat, along with the occasional random other family members and friends. A lot of them have met Hero Bodic. It's through a lot of them that I met our good friends Encrypted Cryptid and Nickabeans. So the old extended wrestling family. All right, so I think I like to do like ones first. So I'm going to try to split these up into left hands and right hands, because the right hand, the figure's right hand, has an elbow pad sculpted into it and wrist tape and a hand tape. This one is pretty finicky, so I think I kind of want to do that first. And then we'll leave the easy ones, which is just a thick, long wrist tape up to the forearm. We'll leave those for second. So try to split those up here. I have a lot of people ask me about wrist tape in wrestling, if it's actually like for support or anything, or if it's entirely just aesthetic. And I've always said that it's just aesthetic. But the one time I told a wrestler, wrist tape doesn't do anything for you, he went out and immediately broke both wrists in one match. So I don't know, maybe it is helpful. What do I know? Looking forward to meeting a few at the Luau. Hell yeah. You and Rip were the first wrestlers to come out for my local indie wrestling watching. Immediately became a fan. We are nothing if not very quick to make an impression. When we come out as a tag team with the spikes and the hair and the beards, and we're yelling and shouting and throwing our arms in the air and kind of forcing our way through the fans, we don't like to leave them wondering who we are. We like them to know who we are as soon as we come out. And we go to great lengths for that. And that was learning to do that served us very well in Japan. Because with a language barrier and with a lack of familiarity, getting over there was not tricky, but was something to not be taken lightly. And by coming out real big and real loud and not staying in the aisle that we would walk to the ring, and instead kind of getting right out into the people, we were heels, we were bad guys, but we were endeared to those fans right away because of the way we presented ourselves. And it's something that we worked on a lot for years, really crafting. And you and Encrypted Cryptid met us right at about the time that we figured it out. There's a lot in wrestling that needs to be figured out and worked on. When the stuff clicks, man, woo! There's few things that are as much fun as like genuinely finding what it is that helps you connect with a crowd. For me, it's partly the loud being a big character at shows, but it's also partly like this. The Joan Jett, the leather and spikes. Yeah, for those who've never seen us team together, and I don't show entrances on my streams, when we enter as a tag team, we enter to Rip's solo entrance music, which is I Hate Myself for Loving You by Joan Jett. And right on the pre-chorus, the took my heart and you took my pride away. On that yay, we get up on the turnbuckles and both headbang wildly. People love it. It was great. Classic Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody approach. Yeah, kinda. I mean, huge influence on the two of us. And if you look at the two of us together, I'm Stan with long hair, and Rips, in many ways, has a lot of Brody in his look. He's a short little Brody. I say he's short. It's like he's on the upper edge of 5'10", so like, you know, he would be short next to Bruiser Brody, but he's not short. That's something I was talking with him about recently. It's like, he refers to himself as being short. So like in my head, I was like, yeah, Rip's short. And then I get a look at him up close sometimes, and I'm like, he's towering over a lot of the other people in this locker room, you know? Yeah, the top rope headbang was a classic for us. I just did the motions with you. Yeah, you know, it was a real signature. Rip doesn't do it all the time anymore when he still enters to that song. Like sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't, and which is crazy to me because it all started as his thing. He was doing that as a solo act, and I was like, well, if I'm teaming with you, I'm also going to do it. Like, it looks awesome, and the crowd loves it. Why wouldn't I also do this thing? And having the two of us do it together, where we both had the hair everywhere. It was huge. Sometimes he comes out with large chains and slaps the ring right by. Yeah, he sure does. And he did that in Japan too. So Rip can't really travel with a chain, at least not internationally on airplanes. So when he goes to Japan, he doesn't bring a chain. But when we were in Japan, he found a chain in the dojo, in amongst all the tools and stuff, and just said, "Oh, I'm going to use this." Didn't ask anyone's permission, didn't tell him he was going to do it. He just put it in his backpack and brought it back to the dojo house with him after training, and then packed it in his gear bag and brought it to the shows. And promoter loved it, fans loved it. And when he was done, he brought it back to the dojo, and then before every show, he would grab it again. And now, when he goes back and visits and does a couple shows with them, he takes his little Japan vacation trips out there. They keep it for him. They keep it with him. Encrypted Crypt says, how do I get you guys to come out to a ska gimmick instead of metal just once, please? I don't know. You'd have to bash Rip in the head until something broke permanently because he vehemently hates ska. Rip is very close-minded about his music. He likes one genre of music, and it is 80s metal. Full stop. I don't know why he's like that. I don't know who hurt him, but that's how he is. He hates pop punk, he hates ska, he hates emo, all of them with a fiery passion. He will entertain pop music, but specifically only girly pop and just a couple Backstreet and NSYNC songs, and that is it. I did used to do a ska gimmick with Leary. We tagged as a message to you, and it was a very ska-heavy gimmick. We would come out to Big D and the Kids Table's cover of Little Bitch, and that was awesome. I loved that. We don't team anymore, though. I didn't like the gear I wore in that gimmick. I had these white jeans that he wanted us to wear, and I hated how it looked. I wrestled in my boots at first with that gimmick, and I hated the way the pants would kind of ride up on the boots, and it would just look bad. So I started wearing my high top Hawaiian print Vans, which was a small improvement, but the pants still looked terrible. I hated those pants, and he knows it. So one night when I was at home, I just took my sewing machine to them, I cut them down into capris and hemmed them. So they became sort of 3/4 length capris. And that was way better, but still not very good. Wait, does Rip not even get into... No, he doesn't. None of it. Rip knows one ska song that he doesn't hate. He has one ska song that he doesn't hate, and it is Catch 22's Keys Be Nights, because it sounds like someone getting ready to commit violence, and he likes that. It's the only ska song I've ever heard him sing to. You know? Yeah, no, it's still, he would hate it. He would probably think the name sounded too cute. He's got this weird thing. He's got a very, like, wants all his music to seem like tough guy music. And I tried to explain to him, like, there is nothing more emo than most of the metal from the 80s. And, like, we talked about it a lot, and he knows I'm right. Yeah. Yeah, he's super close-minded about music. It's a shame. He likes just enough fun stuff that I can get along with. Like, he likes Weird Al. Doesn't love Weird Al, but likes Weird Al. I've said for a very long time, my litmus test for if I can actually ride somewhere with another wrestler is if I put on the Saga Begins, which I closed my karaoke set at the last all day stream with. If I put on the Saga Begins and you can't sing along with it, I don't know. Highly suspect of that, and he can. There was a car ride long ago where something was broken with the car's radio, and we couldn't get our phones to connect, and the highway was in such disrepair that we couldn't hear our phone speakers over the road while we were driving. So we were doing karaoke in the car, but it was a cappella karaoke. It had to be stuff that we could just do without any music playing. And the car ride, that trip, was me, Rip Bison, Delmy Exo, and Anthony Green. And the four of us, with our full chests, belting, did a group rendition of the Saga Begins, beginning to end, and all four of us knew every word. It's one of my favorite car ride memories of any car ride group I've ever been with, and I've been with some great ones. But that was a great time. Something like 2 in the morning. You know, it was something like 2 in the morning driving back from the greater Philadelphia, southern Jersey area on like a Wednesday or something like that. I want to say it was like a Dojo Wars or something. Might have been an ECWA taping. And we were tired, and it was the beginning of a very long weekend of bookings for all of us. And that got us through a few miles. Yeah, start scroll. There was a car ride a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Nicely done, Reed Cooper. Nicely done. Well played. Well played. All right. It's 3 down. We're making slow progress, and we got about 10 minutes left before I'm going to call it a stream. I may do like a midday stream tomorrow doing some more of this. If anyone is thinking they might be interested in hanging out for such a thing, say so in the chat. Otherwise, I might just do it on my own without a camera rolling. Might just, throw on an audiobook or a podcast and just set to painting the old figs. Because we still got a ways to go. But if folks would be interested in hanging out, Nika Beans, yes, just make sure to call me. Hey, I try. I do my best. I try to tell everybody. I put it in the Discord. I put it on the social. The last time that you almost missed one, I did text you, and you responded in all capitals, "I'm ready." And if I could reach my soundboard right now, I would hit the CM Punk, tell me when I'm telling lies. I did my best. I tried to help. Yeah, but sometimes some people can't be helped. And in that particular case, apparently I couldn't help enough. I took the dogs out and forgot. You told me you were doing laundry. You know, the story keeps changing. I think maybe you just didn't want to watch. Oh. I would be the worst. Like cop to interrogate people because I would just keep making jokes and popping myself. I would have to play good cop, I guess. Just imagine some hardened criminal going, talking to my partner, going, "What's up with Chuckles over here?" Clearly, my mush brain didn't even remember that. You know, it's okay. Brains should be a little mushy. Gives us all character. I'm highly suspect of anyone whose brain works too well. I find neurotypicals to be very untrustworthy. Thankfully, I don't think I know any. So, not an issue. I know some people who would claim they're neurotypical, but I can't think of a greater indicator that you're not than claiming it. Boom, 4 down. We're cooking. We're moving and grooving on these toys, making it happen. It's all coming together. Now, if I can have these all painted by the end of the day tomorrow, I can let them cure the whole weekend. Really let that paint get nice and dry. And then Monday, hit them with the clear coat. And I can let that cure for a couple of days. And then the one regular Perry figure that is for Reed, I can go back and I can give him his pupils. And the rest of these, I can go back and put the silver on their sunglasses. That chrome needs some real time to cure. It is a very slow drying paint. So the sooner I can do that, the better. So I may call an audible and clear coat all these like Sunday night or something. Give them all day Saturday, all day Sunday, all day Friday to dry. Then hit that clear coat Sunday night. Give them all day Monday for the clear coat to dry. Clear coats dry pretty quick, but you do want them to have a lot of cure time before you pack them up or anything. You don't want any leftover tackiness. And then, yeah, like Tuesday or Wednesday, I could hit the chrome on it. This is what happens every time is I think like, oh, you know, I'm running real early on these toys. This is great. And then when I actually look at the time frame, I go, uh-oh, I forgot that stuff takes time to dry. And then I got to start thinking about it. Got to start doing some calendar math. Yeah, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, folks. I will be back. I will be streaming some Stardew Valley with the birthday boy this week, Mr. Johnny Torres, our good friend. So I hope you will all come out and wish him a happy birthday on the stream tomorrow night. Still got a few minutes to to work on this. I believe I started the stream a few minutes late. Yeah, we can go a little longer. I think I started about 10 minutes late. I'm seeing we've been live just about 2:20. I want to go about 2:30, so we won't get through all of these, but we'll come pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. If I keep moving out of frame, see if I can turn you guys a bit here. Yeah, there we go. I've had this stuff happening out of frame for a while. My apologies. Thank you everyone for being so polite in the chat and not yelling at me for it. 3 more sets of arms, kind of. This is the last of the right hands. So technically, I have 6 more half sets of arms. But where these are very exacting because I have this wrist tape scheme that's very detailed, very small. I want to get the edges just right. The next ones are all much easier to do. Yeah, good. So we'll see. We may get through these. I do need to print another set of arms and a torso when I'm done here. I actually tried to print them once already and had my first failed print on that machine in months. So it was just dumb luck. You know, sometimes a print fails, and it's not because anything's wrong with the machine or anything's wrong with the resin. You know, the resin printing process is, compared to the filament printing process, kind of a kind of a violent one. There is the print itself has to maintain a fair bit of strength to hold up to the process, and one weak link on any given print can throw the whole thing off, and that's what happened. It was just dumb luck that it didn't work out. This is not a Hollow Wicked figure. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's gonna be some folks that I'm doing some figures for that are going to be much more involved. There's some folks I'm talking to that desperately want figures, and they do want me to do the painting, which is fine by me. It's good content. I don't mind doing it. It's kind of relaxing, really. As stressful as it may seem to paint little finicky things, it's kind of relaxing. But it's good content. It's something to do on stream, and I get paid a lot more if I do the painting. So there are some folks that have asked me to do figures for them where it is going to be much more involved. So yeah, look out for that. Let's see. Let's click down. Get ready to go. Okay. And now you'll see these are much faster because I only have to worry about 2 edges, top edge and the bottom edge. And then the rest just gets filled in. So this part I definitely sculpted, not just to match how I look, because this is how I wear my wrist tape, but it's one that is sculpted kind of to make my life a bit easier. See that? Boom. Just that quick, just that easy. That's all that one takes. Taking a look at it to make sure good coverage everywhere. Sometimes it's hard to tell if I'm seeing reflections of the light down here because I have pretty bright lights on because I know this is all on camera. Or if I'm seeing transparency in the paint. But that was just, what I was seeing was just reflections, so looks pretty good. pretty good. Okay. I'll add a different one. That's going to work. All right. And now we have roughly 5 minutes remaining, and it becomes a race against the clock. Can I get these done for my arbitrary time limit on the stream run? It is arbitrary, so I'll go over if I need to. I would like to finish these arms, though. Boom. Like I said, these ones are going to be a lot faster. So if anyone has any lagging last-minute questions as the stream winds down here, we are on the final 4 arms. But yeah, if folks are into it, I will do a midday stream tomorrow down here in the old workshop. Got to time it carefully. I got some errands to run tomorrow, and I gotta get the old workout in. Tomorrow's a leg day, which is unpleasant. You know, leg day can be really fun and enjoyable. There's days when like it's really, you know, I feel like I'm really rocking a leg day. But psychologically, I enjoy my workouts best when I get a good pump and I can see it. And I'm not good at flexing legs. And because my legs are very long, I feel like I never get a pump. So it just never feels as good as like a shoulder day or a chest day. Those are the days when I'm like, yeah, look at me go. Right. Coming right up on that time. I'm not going to rush these. I would sooner go a few minutes over my arbitrary ending time for the stream than I would mess up one of these pieces. But I feel pretty good about the productivity tonight on stream. We did all the hair and beards of our torsos. We got all the arms done in a minute. We got those board shorts all done. That's huge. By the time I'm theoretically potentially streaming tomorrow, I'll be able to paint the boots and knee pads on those legs and call those done. And I will theoretically have printed a fresh torso and set of arms to do, and we'll do those. And shy of the little bits of touch-up work and clear coating, some pupils on Reed's Perry Classic figure, and the mirror effect on the sunglasses for the Luau figure. shy of those details, these toys will be done. And I know our good friend Nika Beans has been feverishly working on the little mini Hawaiian shirts and the lays for these figures. Luau is going to be off the hook. If these sell really well, if I get the idea that these have been a huge success, I may do more one-off variant for specific events. Nika Beans and I have already talked about some potential ideas for that. I think it would be pretty cool and something that I could probably do to make little t-shirts, actual cloth t-shirts for the Perrys with the RPM Fest logo on them. And if that's the case, having special one-offs just for the RPM Fest would be pretty cool. I think like maybe it would be like his entrance jacket, and like on the back we could do like RPM and like grind logos together. Yeah, I'm so excited about doing the collaboration. I've had people talk to me before about collaborations, but no one was ever like serious, and no one ever came in with like an idea. So I would kind of say like, well, I don't know, like, what do you want to do? I did a collaboration with the incredible, and you should all look him up. I haven't seen his posts in a while, but I assume he's still making stuff. An incredible artist named Kerfloss, KERFLOSS on Instagram. He made the half human, half monster truck Perry using one of my 3D printed figures and some sculpts that he made on his own. He does wax figure sculpting, like real classic toy making. And then he made molds and he cast them. And then he hand painted 8 of them. One that he kept for himself for a toy show that he was entering it in, which was very cool. And then he sent the rest to me. One lives with me as in my archives, and the others have sold out. They are all gone. But they were very cool, and he did some incredible work. He was also kind enough to send me the original wax sculpts of them, and he even sent me some wax sculpts of Rip Bison prototype he was going to make to go along with it. But we never really got to work on that any further. All right, and there's our arms. Heck yeah! I'm going to bring the rack over here into the frame of the big cam, and I'll even bloop bloop. Look at that! Look at it! Look at them all! Yo, between those and these, which are already like drying, like get a look at that. Come on! I mean, that is so dope. I am so psyched with how these are turning out. These look really good. And we are going to call it a stream. I'm so psyched with how this went. Give me one quick second here, and I'm going to see if there's anybody we can raid on the way out the door. There's not always people live when I go to look, so let's see what we can do here. But thank you all so much for hanging out. Keep your eyes peeled for potential midday stream tomorrow. Watch the Discord, please, oh please. Let's see. Okay. All right, chat. Let me get your collective opinion on this. We could raid the Mega 64 boys, who are playing Crazy Taxi. Always fun. On the PPS, the Poorly Played stream, starring Garrett Hunter, aka Strife, a wrestler in San Diego. Or we could raid our good friend Valerie Gilbert, who is playing NASCAR 25. What do we think? Do we want the NASCAR or the Crazy Taxi? Either way, we're going to see some car graphics, which is delightful, right? So, what do we think? First person to make a recommendation. Let's visit Val. Nika Beans, you got it. we are going to raid our good friend Val Gilbert for NASCAR. Vroom vroom. That's right. Danged right. All right. When we hop in, I believe Val doesn't really talk on stream or appear on stream, so there might not be a ton of interaction, but you never know. She may have updated what she's doing over there. They are fantastic. They are the best. Be sure to say hello. Throw them a couple of our emotes in the chat. Let them know we have arrived. And enjoy some NASCAR. And I will be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with Johnny Torres for our weekly cozy Stardew stream and to wish Johnny Torres a happy birthday. So I hope to see you all there, and might do a midday stream doing some toy work. I will talk to you then. Take care, my friends.